Shalom. My name is Rabbi Shaul Praver. Welcome to Rabbi Rock. It's good to have you here again today. Rabbi Rock is about positive news, it's about Jewish music, and it's about people doing really positive things in the world. A lot of you have concerns about what's happening in the Middle East. It's on the news every day, and it's very disturbing, the images and scenes that we see, the killing, the terrorism, and the whole issue has been plaguing and disturbing for people all over the world. So many solutions are offered, so many plans, so many peace plans. The tenant plan, the plan of the quartet. We have so many plans over the years that have come about, and all of them are lacking a couple of very important ingredients, such as forgiveness, love, empathy, and you can't have a real peace without those essential ingredients. Understanding. We could have a cold peace, perhaps, but the real meaning of peace, shalom, which is shalem, wholesome, complete, is not there unless we have those key ingredients. My guest today is Rabbi David Blumenfeld, and we're going to meet him shortly. He's a very interesting man, and we're very fortunate to have him on our show today. Rabbi Blumenfeld had the unfortunate experience of being shot by a terrorist, and thankfully he survived. And his daughter wrote a book about this incident. It's called Revenge. And it's a study of revenge, how it's done throughout the world, throughout history. And eventually, Laura Blumenfeld, the author of the book, Revenge, through the counsel of her father, her friends, and the experience on her own as well, comes to the conclusion that the ultimate revenge is positive, constructive revenge, to thrive in your own life. Someone tries to put you down, someone tries to eliminate you, so you get up, you thrive, and this is the most positive revenge. The biggest revenge that the Palestinian people could do is to thrive and build a great country. We understand we must be sensitive to all of the feelings of the people, of both sides. They're human beings. We're all human beings. This is a human problem. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Rabbi Blumenfeld. Rabbi Blumenfeld was ordained by the Jewish Theological Seminary and served as a spiritual leader of Congregation Tiferet Israel in Glen Cove, New York for 12 years. Prior to that, he served 2 years as a chaplain with the rank of captain in the United States Army and was stationed in Fort Eustis, Virginia. He is a graduate of Brandeis University. Rabbi Blumenfeld studied comparative religion at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. He received his PhD degree from the New York University in the field of Near Eastern languages and literature. His dissertation was written on the subject of terminology of imprisonment and forced detention in the Bible. In 1986, he was awarded a Doctor of Divinity degree, honorary doctorate from the Jewish Theological Seminary. During the same year, he received a degree. In the Museum Studies from New York University. His scholarship and academic accomplishments earned him an appointment as adjunct assistant professor in the Department of Hebraic Studies in Long Island University. Dr. David Blumenfeld served with distinction as the founding executive director of the New York Holocaust Memorial Commission from 1983 to 1989. Rabbi Blumenfeld also served for 13 years as director with United Synagogue of Conservative Judaism. In that capacity, he initiated a popular and highly acclaimed Imun lay leadership, religious leadership training program at Camps Ramah in New York, California, and Georgia. And that's how I first met Rabbi Blumenfeld. I was teaching there in that program a few summers ago. It was really great to be there. Dr. Blumenfeld has lectured worldwide in academic and organizational settings. He has served as scholar in residence in numerous congregations and has authored Torah Sparks, a widely read weekly commentary on Shabbat Torah readings. He and his wife, Dr. Frances Blumenfeld, live in New Rochelle, New York. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Rabbi Dr. Blumenfeld. Thank you. Shalom. Shalom. Welcome. We are really fortunate to have our very fine guests here with us today, Rabbi Blumenfeld. Welcome. It's great to have you here. Shalom.
Shalom.
Your daughter has written a fabulous book. It's called Revenge, but I think that the title is a little deceiving in a way, because revenge, I don't know, seems like a negative thing, but it actually is a very positive book. And I was very moved by this book, Rabbi Blumenfeld. And that's why I wanted you to come here and tell us the story about what happened.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here. And to tell the story, just in summary, I was the director of the Holocaust Memorial Commission in New York City. Eventually it built the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Battery Park. And a mission went over to Israel, a small group sent by the mayor and the governor of New York to look at the Holocaust museums in Israel. And so we visited the different museums, and then at the end of a very, very tiring day, it was a Friday, we came back to our hotel and we said, well, we're in Jerusalem, let's go down to the Western Wall and pray. It's a special moment in our lives to be there. And so I went down there with them, and we offered our prayers. It was Friday evening, and the sun was setting. And those who were with me returned to the hotel with a taxi, and on the Sabbath I don't ride. So I walked back, and having been a student in Jerusalem, I knew a great shortcut, which took me through the Arab marketplace. And so as the sun had set, it was dusk, I was going through the marketplace by myself, a few people in front, a few in the back. And as I was ascending the street in the marketplace, called David Street, by the way, by coincidence, I suddenly heard a loud sound and felt on the top of my head like a hot wind, and it felt as if a firecracker had been dropped on my head. And I thought for a moment it was a firecracker, but I thought that somebody had dropped it from the roof of a building, some youngster. And but I knew immediately it wasn't a fire, because I began bleeding down my head, and I knew I'd been shot.
Oh gosh.
And I called for help, and knew that I had to struggle up the stairs myself, because a lot of people were there, but they were afraid to come anywhere near this incident. And I really don't blame them. Went into the police station, collapsed there, and while I was lying on the bench waiting for the emergency, somebody ran in with a gun that had just been fired, because the policeman showed me the gun. He says, it's still hot. This is the gun that almost killed you.
Oh my God.
So that's the
Did you know that you were
story.
okay at that point, or did you?
I knew I was okay at that point.
Okay.
And subsequently I learned that I had been shot by a terrorist who was part of the Abu Musa Syrian-backed faction of the PLO. This was a very serious, dangerous. In fact, they were at that time, and we're talking back in 1986, right before the Intifada.
Yeah.
They were the most radical group at that time. And they had, within a period of a month, I was the first victim. Within a period of a month, they had killed another person. They had wounded very seriously 2 other people.
Yeah.
And then the Intifada came. This was the beginning of the terrorist experience.
Okay. Yeah. Now, your daughter wrote the book, Revenge.
Right.
How old? This was like 10 years later that her reaction to her father being nearly fatally shot.
Right. Well, actually, When I returned after coming out of the hospital, I called her, and she was at the university at that time.